Hello, friends. If you own your home in the United Kingdom and you are over 60, July 2026 has brought three developments in property and tax rules that directly affect your savings, your benefits, and what your family inherits when you are gone. One of them emerged 9 days ago with the arrival of a new prime minister. One of them is a hidden trap that is causing hundreds of thousands of pensioners to lose their benefits without realizing what triggered it. And one of them involves HMRC rules on selling your main home that most people assume they understand but do not. Today I'm going through all three. Before we get into it, subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell. Property and tax rules affect the largest asset most pensioners own, and the details that matter are almost never explained clearly. Subscribe now and let us get into it. Let me start with what just happened in Downing Street, because the change of prime minister 9 days ago has direct implications for anyone who owns property worth over a certain value, and for anyone with an unspent pension pot they were planning to leave to their children. Andy Burnham became prime minister on the 20th of July 2026, following the resignation of Keir Starmer. In his first interview as prime minister, Burnham confirmed that the mansion tax, officially called the high-value council tax surcharge, will remain in place. This is an annual charge on homes in England valued at more than $2 million, ranging from £2,500 to £7,500 per year, due to be collected alongside council tax from April 2028. But here is what matters beyond the confirmation. There is active speculation reported by the Homeowners Alliance on the day Burnham took office that the threshold could be lowered from $2 million to $1.5 million. Not confirmed, not law, but being discussed at the highest level of government. Why does this matter for pensioners who do not consider themselves wealthy? Because house prices have risen dramatically over the past 25 years. A family home in Surrey, parts of London, or the southeast that cost £250,000 in 2000 is now worth significantly more in many postcodes. The ONS confirmed in its most recent data that over 150,000 residential properties in England are now valued above $1.5 million. If the threshold moves from $2 million to $1.5 million, a significant number of people who bought ordinary family homes decades ago would suddenly find themselves paying an additional annual surcharge they were not planning for. And separately confirmed law, not speculation. The Finance Act 2026 received royal assent in March and confirms that from the 6th of April 2027, unspent defined contribution pension pots will be included in the inheritance tax estate for the first time. Until now, pension pots passed to beneficiaries completely outside of inheritance tax from April 2027. Those pots attract the standard 40% charge on any amount above the nil rate band. For a homeowner whose property plus pension pot together exceed the threshold, the tax exposure on the estate changes materially. The window to take advice while the old rules still apply is 9 months, and it is closing. The second development is the one that the financial services industry hopes you will never hear about before it is too late, because it is quietly destroying the benefit entitlements of pensioners who followed what seemed like sensible advice. Equity release is a financial product that allows homeowners to access some of the value locked in their property without selling it. You take a lump sum, you stay in your home, and the loan is repaid from the eventual sale. What brokers consistently fail to mention, or mention only in the small print, is what that lump sum does to your benefit entitlement the moment it lands in your bank account. Under DWP rules for means-tested benefits, including pension credit, the cash you receive from equity release is treated as capital, as savings from the moment it arrives. If your total capital exceeds £10,000, pension credit begins to be reduced by £1 per week for every £250 above that threshold. If your capital exceeds £16,000, pension credit is canceled entirely, not reduced, canceled. Here is what that cascade looks like in practice. A pensioner receives £20,000 through equity release. Before the payment, their savings were below £10,000 and they were receiving full pension credit. After the payment, their capital is above £16,000. Pension credit stops, and with pension credit goes every benefit it unlocks. Council tax reduction worth between £1,500 and £2,500 per year. The warm home discount, £150 off the energy bill this winter, cold weather payments, free NHS dental care and sight tests, a free TV license at $75. The total value of the benefits lost can easily exceed £3,000 to £4,000 per year every year for as long as the capital remains above £16,000. On a £20,000 equity release, the effective cost of taking the money as a lump sum is far higher than the product documentation ever makes clear. The alternative that most brokers do not proactively explain is the drawdown facility. Instead of taking the full equity release as a single lump sum, many equity release products allow you to draw down smaller amounts over time, keeping the cash arriving in your account at a level that does not push your capital above the DWP thresholds. If you need £20,000 but draw it in tranches of £4,000 at a time, managing the balance to stay below £10,000 between draws, you preserve your pension credit entitlement throughout. The broker earns the same either way. The difference to you over 5 years can be tens of thousands of pounds in retained benefits. If you are considering equity release, the question to ask your broker is whether a drawdown approach would allow you to keep your pension credit rather than trigger its cancellation. The third development involves the sale of your main home and a specific HMRC rule that most people believe protects them completely, but that has a time limit most homeowners have never been told about. Private residence relief exempts the profit on your main home from capital gains tax when you sell it. Most people know this at a basic level. You sell your house, you keep the profit. No CGT. And for the straightforward case, you live in the house, you sell it, you move out on the day of completion. That is broadly correct. But here is the rule that is catching pensioners who move into care, move in with family, or simply take longer than expected to sell after they have left. Private residence relief applies for the period you actually lived in the property. After you move out, there is a final period exemption, a grace period during which the property is still treated as your main residence, even though you are no longer living there. That final period exemption is 9 months. Here is what that means in a real situation. A pensioner moves into a care home in January 2025. The family takes until April 2026, 15 months later, to organize, clear, and sell the property. Private residence relief covers the entire period of actual occupation, plus 9 months of final period exemption. The remaining 6 months from October 2025 to April 2026 falls outside both. HMRC calculates the proportion of the property's gain that relates to those 6 months and applies capital gains tax at 18% for basic rate taxpayers or 24% for higher rate taxpayers on that amount on a property that has grown significantly in value over decades. Even 6 months of unprotected gain can generate a meaningful tax bill that no one was expecting. The practical implication is specific and actionable. If you or someone you know is moving out of a property that will be sold, whether into care, into a family member's home, or simply downsizing, the 9-month clock starts from the date they leave, not the date they decide to sell. Every month the sale takes beyond 9 months after moving out is a month of potential CGT exposure. Taking advice from a tax advisor before the 9 months expires, not after completion, is the point at which options still exist. So here is the complete picture. Andy Burnham's arrival as Prime Minister 9 days ago has confirmed the mansion tax on properties over $2 million from April 2028 and raised the possibility of that threshold dropping to $1.5 million. affecting homeowners who bought ordinary family homes that have grown significantly in value. The confirmed IHT treatment of unspent pension pots from April 2027 means that anyone with a high-value property and a defined contribution pension needs to review their overall estate position before that April deadline 9 months away. Equity release lump sums are classified as capital by the DWP and can cancel pension credit entirely above £16,000. Use drawdown facilities rather than lump sums if benefit entitlement matters to you. And if you or someone you know has moved out of their main home, the 9-month private residence relief final period exemption means the CGT clock is already running. Take advice before it expires. Subscribe. Share this with every homeowner you know who is over 60. I will see you in the next